I am. I was. This one could go in a lot of different directions, so we'll see. Okay, so a different person. Oh man. Back in the day, when I was still very fresh, I used to have 3-hour, 4-hour streams with the entire
Hello
thing
everyone.
muted.
Our story today comes from Korea, a country
I've played
in
through
Eastern Asia.
multiple Mega Man games
In
without
today's
realizing I
story
had muted myself,
about the
like at the
blind
first
man's daughter,
stage.
you will notice that the girl's name is Shim Chung. Chung is her first name, like Jenny or Maria or Susie. And Shim is her family name. As in many Asian cultures, the family name is set first. So, if your name is John Smith in Korea,
You'd be
you would
Smith
be
John.
called Smith John.
Yeah.
Listen now to the tale
Because it's
of the blind man's daughter.
the amount of importance. Your family name is more important than your name. You know, your lineage is more important. So that's why it comes first.
500 years ago, maybe more, there lived in a certain village a girl named Shim
So I guess the
Chung.
first disc was Native American,
mother
and
had died long
I will
ago,
assume that the
and
entirety
now
of this disc is
her father was going
Asian-based
blind.
stories.
Shim Chung
this
was
one seems to be
very
Korean.
beautiful. Her face was smooth and white. Her hair was shiny and black. She was very good and honest. And she had never been sick. It was as if nothing could harm her. She guided her father when he had to work. But his blindness kept him from
And then just
work.
to let you guys a
And
reminder,
little by
adventure,
little,
action,
all
shooter.
they
There's a
owned
couple
had to be sold
genres
to
coming up
keep
after
them
this. So
alive.
if you guys have idea,
The old
you know,
man
if there's
Shim
PS1
became
games
a
that
beggar.
you're thinking of that might fall into
Felt
those
ashamed
categories, now would be the time
that
to
his
do
daughter
a
had to go
redeem.
with him to beg for coins. One day, he went out alone.
Now that you say that, Gao,
He tripped and fell into a ditch. He tried to climb out.
I'm gonna guess
but he
that's from the
couldn't.
Philippines.
Then a strong hand reached out and lifted him up, and a voice spoke to him. Give me 300 bags of rice for the temple, old man.
Because also
and
crocodiles
time
aren't in
you
North
shall have your
America.
eyes once again. It was the voice of a priest from the temple, and the old man's heart filled with
think.
hope. That evening,
I know alligators
he
are.
told his daughter
Pretty
what
sure
had
crocs
happened.
aren't.
But as he told her, his hope went away, and he got very, very sad. Aigo, Aigo, there is no way for beggars like us to get so much rice. That night, as Shim Chung drifted off to sleep, she sighed, what to do? What to do? Do
That's
as
what
I
I'm
say."
thinking.
Someone answered. In a dream, her dead mother told her how to get the rice and help her father see again.
Okay.
The next morning, Shim Chung
She's
awoke
having vision,
early.
you know, she's being told from her,
She
you
dressed
know,
in a
sad,
long
you
gray
know,
gown
sad her mother's
and a
dead,
big
but like
hat.
she's being given
Then
messages to
she
help.
walked to the house of a very rich merchant. Now, this merchant owned many, many boats that brought rice to faraway China. But there was a river dragon who would not let the boats go through. He would spit water and lash the waves with his tail.
Why?
It was too dangerous for boats to sail.
Why would he do such a thing?
What must I give you? What must I do so my boats may go through? Said the merchant to the dragon. You must bring me a beautiful girl, the dragon answered. And so the merchant spread the news far and wide. He would offer 300 bags of rice to the girl who would give herself to the dragon. Shim Chung told the merchant that she wished to offer herself to the dragon. You do not deserve to die. You are a good daughter, and you are dutiful to your father. But there was no other way for Shim Chung to get the rice. So
There's
the
no
bargain
other way.
was made.
No way to get
The
rice.
next day, Shim Chung watched the horses carry the bags of rice to the priest's temple. Then she bowed before the tomb of her mother and prayed, "Oh, heavenly spirits, care for my father until he is cured." And she spoke to her neighbors, "Oh, kind neighbors, care for my father until he is cured." Then she set forth to keep her part of the bargain. She wore a beautiful gown of green and red with jewels and golden ribbons in her hair. Her beauty shone brighter than the sun in the eastern sky.
Probably shouldn't. I mean,
Soon
probably should not
they
be
came to the
sacrificing people
place
to like
in the river
water spirits.
where the
But
dragon lashed his huge tail. It was time to sacrifice Shim Chung to the
Why?
dragon. The merchant wanted to save her. "Oh, river dragon, do not take this girl." But the river dragon demanded the beautiful girl. So Shim Chung said goodbye to the merchant. She closed her eyes and jumped off the side of the boat and disappeared into the water. Instantly, the river became calm and quiet like a garden pool. Shim Chung floated through the water.
yeah, I
Clouds
feel like
flashed
they
before
didn't
her
really get
eyes.
fair value for their
Big
sacrifice.
rainbow-colored fish danced by, and sea plants tickled her nose as she brushed past them. At last, she arrived at the palace of the dragon. "Kind sir, I'm the daughter of the blind beggar, Shim. I'm not worthy to come before one so important as you." The river dragon spoke. "A message has come to us from Hananim, the emperor of heaven and earth. You shall be rewarded for your goodness to your blind father." Then sea maidens dressed Shim Chung in the finest clothes. They gave her the softest sleeping mats and the richest food. In this life of comfort and ease, Shim Chung grew more beautiful than ever. Then one day, the maidens took her to a giant lotus blossom that lay on the river bottom, and they put her right in it.
Okay.
It was so large that it covered her completely. "Goodbye, Shim Chung," said the river dragon. "Goodbye," Shim Chung answered back. And soon
So
she felt herself rising like a bubble up through the water.
So the dragon was just
When
like,
she
"Alright,
reached
we've had
the
our
top,
fun."
she was floating next to the boat of the rice merchant. But the rice merchant did not see her. All he saw was the blossom. Never in heaven or on earth was there such a lotus flower as this, said the merchant. "Let us take it to the king." The merchant presented the flower to the king. The king was delighted. No one else in all the world had such a blossom. Every day he admired it floating in the garden pool. All day long, Shim Chung hid inside the giant flower. Then one night, as she ventured out of the blossom, the king discovered her. She ran to hide, but the blossom had disappeared. The king looked at her. "Can this be a spirit? She's so beautiful." He called his wise men. On the day the lotus flower was brought to the king, a bright new star had appeared in the sky. That's a good sign. And so he made Shimchang his wife. Shimchang was happy in her life as a queen, but some days she would think of her
So she
poor
was
father.
sacrificed to a dragon
Here, I have
who
all I
married
want,
her essentially.
but my poor father's eyes are closed
gave-
to the world. One day, the king saw her weeping. I go, my husband, Shimchang said to
She's
the
lived a
king.
life.
I have had a dream about a blind man. It makes me cry. I should like to do something for all the blind people in the kingdom. So, a message was sent to all the blind beggars of the kingdom to invite them to a feast in the king's courtyard. 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days passed.
Well, then that's a
Beggars
dick
came
thing
from
for the
far
king
and
to
near
do, like
to
making the
eat
river
rice
all
and kimchi.
shitty.
Queen Chang watched
If that
every
if that
day,
ends up being the case,
hoping
this
the
whole
next
story is
person
just
would be her
crap.
father. The end of the feast came, and still no father. Then one day, there was a noise in the courtyard. A latecomer was being pushed about by the servants. Father, father, it is my dear father. Let him stay. She ordered her servants to dress him in new clothing and bring him to her chamber. What wonder is this? Said the old man Shim, when he heard his daughter's voice. Do apricots bloom in the snow? Do horses have horns? Do the dead men come to life? How can I be sure you are truly Chang? And he rubbed his eyes. Suddenly, just as the temple priest had promised, the old man's sight returned. Oh my goodness, you are beautiful, he said. The king welcomed Shimchang's father into the palace, and Queen Chang was happy all day long. Her father could see again. This was the heavenly reward to the dutiful daughter of the blind beggar Shim. The story of the blind man's daughter, Shim Chang, is just one of the many folk tales from Korea. You can find others in your school or public libraries. Stories such as The Man Who Lived 1,000 Years.
Like Gao's version of that story sucks. No offense, Gao.
Read
But that version would have
the
sucked.
folk tales from Korea and from
The actual
all over
story
the
is
world.
fine.
Share a story with a friend.
That
so
dragon's still a
our
dick,
tales
but
will never
He
end.
did give the girl her dad's sight back, so you know. I don't think that's the moral at all. I think the moral is just like be selfless and like, yeah, I think it's just kind of like be selfless. That girl was like, I will do everything for my blind father, and then everything worked out. Yeah, exactly. Be selfless for selfish reasons. You get it. Haven't you ever heard of Avenue Q? Helping others, brings you close. Well, you help yourself, the more you help others.
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant
like a
from
whole
the
thing.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
That and Schadenfreude. Those are like the big concepts of Avenue Q. Now there is a story. There are some lessons to be learned in a story there. All right. So, Gao, I will give you another chance Do you still think Jose and the Crocodile is not associated with the Asian continent? Before we start it. Because these are the other two. Okay. He's not backing down. Kind of hedging, but not backing down. I mean, if there's a crocodile, I assume someone's getting eaten. It's like a whale. Anytime they are in a story, there's usually a... Okay, Patricia Payuyo. This is not looking good for my theory. But again, Philippines.
Our story today comes from the Philippines. A group of...
Booyah! Didn't mean to rewind. That was just I hit the button.
Our story today comes from the Philippines. A group of islands in the Pacific Ocean. Long ago, the early people of the Philippines made up stories to tell their children. These folk
I was
tales
really
were
confident.
textbooks of their day.
Until I
They
saw
served
her
to
name, and I
preserve
was like,
the history
oh,
and traditions of
that
the
might
people.
actually not.
They
And
told
then
about
it wrapped
events that
background. I
had
was like, wait, no,
happened,
if I thought
and also
Jose
tried
was
to
because the
explain
Philippines,
the
that name is
interesting
also
things in
perfectly
nature that they
fine.
saw about them. In a land of volcanoes, earthquakes, and violent storms, there was a lot to try to explain. Mountains erupted, and sometimes the earth
Hey
shook
man, I can
beneath
get excited
their
about
feet,
being
and new
right about the
islands rose
stupidest shit,
unexpectedly from
okay?
the sea. The people were always surrounded by nature, so they were often puzzled by some of the oddities they saw. What was this fish with no bones or scales and looked like a blob of jelly? What made insects glow in the dark? Where did the eagle come from? And the crocodile?
Again with the eagle?
They made up a story for
Why do
everything.
all these stories have to
Talking
involve
animals
an
are
eagle?
found as characters in folktales everywhere. And, as is proper in a tropical country, it is a quick-thinking monkey who is the hero
It did just kind of work
story.
out that way.
Jose and the Crocodile, and its characters, setting, and topic, is a typical Filipino story. This story may be like some stories you have heard before. Tell me if it is. Now, listen to this tale of Jose and the Crocodile. It
I may or
begins
may not have worked
noong unang
with and
panahon.
for many Filipinos in the past, so I did have a slight edge when it came to
Jose lived with his family
Sussing
in a little
out.
village next to a river. Jose's father raised coconuts, bananas, and other fruits and vegetables. One day, his mother asked, "Jose, will you please gather some coconuts? I need them for cooking and feeding the hogs, and your father would like to sell some at the market." "Yes, mother, right away," Jose answered. Jose hitched the water buffalo to a sled. He took his sharp
What if the
bow
crocodile's
and
just like
strapped it to
a
his waist.
shisty
He
mofo?
climbed on the
Like
water
he's just like a
buffalo
trickster.
and started looking for fallen coconuts. Jose was too small to climb the tall coconut trees.
That would be a fine
so he
story.
gathered ones that
No one
had
would
fallen
get
off
eaten.
the trees. There were not too many on the ground near the house that day, so he wandered farther and farther away. It was hard work, and Jose traveled far. The air was hot and humid. Jose and the water buffalo became very tired and thirsty. So they went to the river for a drink and a quick swim in the cool water. While Jose was splashing water on the water buffalo, he heard a groan coming from far away. It sounded like a cry of some animal in pain. Jose became worried. He jumped on the water buffalo and rode towards the sound.
Why wouldn't you
Groans became louder
remove
and louder
the
as they
yoke
rode.
from him?
Soon,
Jeez.
Jose saw a big rope hanging from a branch of a large tree. At the end of the rope was a net, and
Crocodile's
in the net,
jaws are bigger than the
big
water
crocodile
buffalo.
was fighting to
I
get
would
out.
go nowhere near it.
Crocodile catchers
Jose,
were here
just
again,
back away.
thought Jose to himself. They will make shoes and belts and bags out of this poor crocodile's skin.
Oh, he's gonna do worse to you,
Little
bro.
boy, please help me. I have a wife and children,
Said the crocodile with big tears in his eyes.
if you set me free,
That's
I will
literally
give
a
you
saying.
a large gold
Don't
ring.
believe it.
Promised the crocodile. Jose felt sorry for the crocodile
No,
and
you
decided to help him.
stupid child.
Besides, he thought, when I get the gold ring, Father can sell it, and we won't have to work as hard anymore. He took his bolo from its wooden sheath and stood on the water buffalo, and, after several blows, cut the rope. Jose climbed off the buffalo
Yeah, Gal, I
and cut
think
the
you're
net
right.
into
He's super
pieces.
dead.
The crocodile slid through the net. He was free again. Now that I have set you free, may I have the gold ring you promised me?
The beautiful gold ring is in my house down the river. Hop on my back and we will go and get it.
Yeah,
Then you
that's
will be rich.
Jose
You know,
did
that's-
just as he was told. Quietly, the crocodile slid down the bank into the river. Jose held tightly to the crocodile's slippery back.
Foolish child. He has no idea that I want to eat him. I'm very hungry, and he will make a tasty meal.
he's a
Water
snack
got
at
deeper
best.
and deeper. Jose asked, "How much farther is your home? Are we close to it now?" The crocodile turned his snout towards Jose and said,
Oh, I just remembered.
"The ring is in my stomach."
I'll have to swallow you so you can get it yourself.
As Jose looked at the large teeth in the crocodile's huge mouth, he became frightened.
Really?
"Oh no,
He was
Mr.
frightened to climb
Crocodile,
into the
please
croc's
don't
mouth.
swallow me. I shall never get out of your stomach alive. Let me go. Please let me go. I don't even want your ring anymore." Jose begged and begged. The crocodile decided to play a game with Jose.
All right, my boy. Inasmuch as you helped set me free, I will give you a chance to be free. You must ask the next three things
I'll add it
that
after
float
the
down
stream.
river, whether or not I should eat you. If they say no, then I will set you free. But if they say yes, I will eat you up.
Jose had no choice. "That sounds fair enough." The first thing they saw floating down the river was an upside-down banca, which is a dugout
I
canoe.
gotcha.
Banca, please help me." "What can I do for you, young man?" asked the banca. "Do you think it is fair for this crocodile to eat me up after I set him free from the trapper's net?" "Well, son, let me tell you. When I was a new banca, my owner was very proud of me. He sailed me up and down the river catching fish.
Yeah, no, Jose,
I
you deserve to
carried
be eaten because,
vegetables,
like,
rice,
everything
chickens,
kind of
and
pointed
even
to
his
don't
family.
release his
But
ass.
as I grew older, I acquired some leaks. So my owner decided to build another banca and sent me floating down the river. I'm slowly rotting away. People are not very grateful. Why should Mr. Crocodile be grateful? If I were he, I would eat you up." And with that, the banca floated past Jose and the crocodile.
Well, there you have it.
Next came a torn basket with moss growing on its sides. Basket, please help me. Please tell the crocodile he shouldn't eat me.
He
after
really
I
should
set
stop
him free from the
asking
trapper's
inanimate
net."
objects and just try and, like,
The
ask a
basket creaked
person.
and said, People wish others to be grateful, but they themselves never show gratitude. Why, when I was new, my owners took me to the market and filled me with vegetables and fruits. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you were
was
well
very
loved.
useful. But the loads got so heavy that after a few months, I started falling apart. Then my master's wife threw me away. Here I am floating all day and all night, just rotting away. Crocodile, eat that boy up. Teach people a lesson on thankfulness.
Jesus Christ.
Jose was
That basket is
sadder
bitter.
and sadder. He cried for his mother, and he cried for his father. Then a battered old hat came floating by. Hat, please help me. Please tell the crocodile not to eat me. I set him free from the trapper's net, and now he wants to eat me. Please tell the crocodile it's not fair. The hat laughed. Thankfulness? My boy, talk about thankfulness. I remember when I was new, my master wore me proudly. I kept him cool when the sun was hot and dry when it rained. Then I grew old and shaggy, and he threw me into the river. So here I am, just floating in this river, all day and all night,
But
and
you
I
could
am
be like a
rotting
lily pad.
away. Crocodile, eat
You have
him
a second
up.
life you could
You
like
should not
kind
be
of
thankful to
branch out
people
into
who do
if
not
you were
know
just
how to
like
be
not a
thankful
dick.
themselves. The crocodile
Yeah, this is
was
really just
happy.
teaching people to be hoarders.
Last he was going to have his meal. Jose cried.
Like,
and
don't throw stuff
cried.
out or else the kid
He
is gonna
cried
get
so
eaten because
loudly
the stuff you
that a
threw out is
monkey
bitter.
sitting on a tree by the river heard
Hey,
his
Dreamy.
cries. The monkey chattered
Welcome
and ran up
in.
and down a branch.
How's it going,
Oh,
guys?
Mr.
How was your
Crocodile,
stream, Dreamy?
Mr.
What were you up
Crocodile,
to?
Give me a ride, please. I'd like to float down the river too, said the monkey. Why, certainly, my dear friend. We will be happy to give
Crash
you a
2,
ride.
nice.
said
How
the
was
crocodile.
Crash 2?
What a great meal I shall have today.
I do enjoy the
A
Entrance
tasty
collection. It's
boy
not like the same
and
as the
a
originals,
monkey.
but it's still good. Welcome in,
Mr.
everyone.
Crocodile, come
Welcome in,
closer to the
Pixel.
riverbank so I can jump
Big
on
Tall.
your back. Come closer, closer.
Welcome to
Crocodile
16
came
Tales. We
closer
are on
and
Tale
closer. Then
6.
suddenly, the monkey threw a vine to Jose. Jose caught the vine and lifted himself off the crocodile's back
Yeah,
and
Crash
onto
on
the tree. The
non-PlayStation
crocodile snapped
is
his jaws and lashed his long tail just
suspect.
inches from Jose's feet. But Jose was safe on the tree. Thank you.
Oh, Crash 2 is
thank
the...
you. How can
My
I ever
bad.
repay you for
Crash 2
saving
is the
my
sequel
life?
on the Game Boy. Gotcha.
Easily, said the monkey. What I love most is bananas. Ask your father to plant enough banana
They called it
trees
the end.
to feed both your
I guess it was
family
the
and my family.
insane.
That will be
No,
enough
just
payment.
Yeah.
All right, I will.
My brain has been
said
melted by
Jose.
really terrible stories.
Jose climbed down
so
the tree,
I
and the
apologize.
monkey jumped on his shoulder. Then they both
it's most certainly
ran
not
to tell
art.
the story to Jose's family.
I know
And
art is
from that
subjective,
day
but this
on,
is not art.
Jose and the monkey became very close
There
friends.
is. There is 4 of them. Each one of them contains 4 of these featurettes.
Jose and the Crocodile is just one of many stories
But we
from the
did
Philippines.
we did beat
You can find
Pandemonium
others
earlier,
in your
so
school
I
or
was
public
playing a game
libraries.
earlier, which is why we've
Stories
been
like
online
Dr.
for
Omar and
almost
the
10 hours
Fairy,
now.
and Princess Meringue, the Huntress, and the story of the absent-minded king.
The first disc was all Native
Read and
American
enjoy the
stories,
stories from
and
the
like
Philippines
one of
and
them
from
was
all
not
over the world.
traumatizing. That was
Share a
the
story with a friend,
basis of the
so
first
our
disc,
tales
and
will
now
never end.
now these are Asian culture based. Insane Trilogy. Okay, that's where I got the mix up. I knew the names had to be somewhat similar. How you doing, Raw Man? No, so this is part of the Lightspan collection, which was not made by a terrible developer, but rather it was made as an educational tool to be used in schools. Why they would want to use a PS1 in a school, I don't know. But there's like 100 some odd games in the Lightspan collection, and there's like a quarter of them are just videos. This is one of the series that is just videos. Yeah, like I said, once you get past the PS1, the series kind of nosedives until they remake it. I like Crash 4. I think Crash 4 on PS5 or PS4 was pretty good. I needed to, Pandemonium drove me insane.
Was funded in part
And I needed it every, I want to say it was like 3 every 25 games have to be educational. So I was just like, let's do a block of 4. Alright. On to Ma Liang and the Magic Brush. So this be like Chalk Zone. Pandemonium. I was on a single level for like 2.5 hours. That game was fine. I was having fun with it. And then it was like, how about you hate everything about this experience? I was like, all right, I guess. Like, it's not the best way to go about it, but sure. Yeah, I'm in the Pacific, so only like half of the year though, because my state's stupid. Or my state is the only smart, insane one. I don't know. It's really your call. Because we don't actually adhere to daylight savings time. We just switch time zones.
I'm going to tell you a story from China. China is a very old country. In fact, it's the world's oldest living civilization. The Chinese people.
Every state does. Arizona's the one that's like, we're dumb. They were also the last ones to recognize Martin Luther King Day, so I'm not any stupid shit about this state. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. It's Arizona.
Largest cities. The Chinese people are very proud of their nation, its long history, and its influence on other countries.
But it has made the transition from Los Angeles a little easier, because 6 months out of the year, I'm still on Pacific time.
Paper, porcelain, printing, and silk cloth.
It's really shitty too, because Nevada is always on Pacific time.
Chinese uses characters instead of an alphabet.
And I'm like 10 minutes away from Nevada, so like when it's daylight, when it's not daylight savings time, I literally can drive across the river and be an hour behind where I was.
Our story today is an old favorite. Many Chinese stories are about gods, spirits, wizards, and even
we bounce back and
animals,
forth.
such as the dragon, who all have special
What's
powers.
South Carolina's
In
deal?
today's story, a wizard brings happiness to a young village boy named Ma Liang.
Okay, a wizard brings happiness to a young boy.
Sit beside me, and I'm going to tell you the story of Ma Liang and the magic brush.
Yeah, I because we are, I think technically Arizona's designated as mountains, so technically we go from mountain standard to Pacific standard, and mountain standard to Pacific daylight.
Small child,
Weird.
so he could not go to school like the other children in the village. Instead, he worked all day
So
gathering
dumb.
firewood or pulling weeds for the people of the town.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
morning, Ma Liang stopped to watch the children in the schoolyard make pictures with brushes and paint. The schoolmaster showed them how to draw green trees.
I just needed, because I need to know when
and red
things are on
roosters.
TV.
Ma Liang was fascinated by the graceful strokes of their brushes.
Oh, for sure.
And dreamed of all the beautiful pictures he would paint.
They've tried
He owned a
voting to change it so many
brush, but his
times.
chores earned him only enough money for
It's like the
food
metric
and
system, we're
clothes.
never getting it.
So of course he could not afford to buy brushes and paint. After the painting lesson was over, the children went back inside the schoolhouse, and Ma Liang went slowly back to his chores with a frown on his face and a dream in his heart. One day,
Well, it's not even
Ma
like
Liang
that. It
watched
was
the
a
children painting.
wartime
He
concept
timidly
that just
approached
stuck
the
around.
schoolmaster. Excuse me, might I have an old brush so that I too can paint lovely pictures? So you think you
At
would
least for
like
us.
to paint? Cried the schoolmaster. You are just a poor peasant. Go back to your chores and do not come back into the
No,
schoolyard again.
no. As far as I know, it was like
Ma Liang was
starting the
but not
early
discouraged.
20th
Why
century.
shouldn't I learn to paint even though I am poor? He said to himself. I will learn Even if I do not have a brush,
World War I
I will
believe.
draw the things I see. At the end of the day, when he finished his chores, Ma Liang looked carefully at everything around him and drew pictures wherever he could.
Well, now we have
Stick, he
lights
drew
that can
trees,
operate all
birds
all
on the
day
soft
long, so it
ground,
doesn't matter.
And with his
Look
fingers,
back.
he drew turtles on the sand. When he went back
Like
to
back
his
in,
little
like-
hut, Ma Liang drew pictures on the
Back in
walls
the
with a
early
piece of
20th
burnt
century, they were
firewood.
using like
Long into the night, he
gas
drew picture
lamps and
after
stuff like
picture.
that. So like
By morning, he had
it was a way to
covered the
conserve
walls
fuel.
with drawings of everything he could think of. Ma Liang
Like
practiced his
there was a
drawing every
reason
day.
behind, like there was a
Soon,
legitimate
the
reason
birds he
for
drew
it.
looked just
Like I said, it was a
the birds in the
wartime
trees.
thing, conserve
The
fuel
fish
for the
he
war
drew
effort.
looked just like the fish in the river.
So you wanted to
Became
shift the
so
clock so
skillful
people were
that
using
people
the
of his
sun as
village
much as
marveled
possible.
at his pictures. They would gather around him when he drew his pictures in the dirt. But Ma Liang was still
Yeah, in a
sad
practical level,
that he did
daylight
not
saving
have his
sucks.
own
I
dish.
hated when I was getting out of
Every
the
night
office at
before
like
he went to
5 and
bed,
it was dark.
he closed his eyes and wished for one.
I love it
One
when it's
night,
like 8 o'clock and
a
still
cloud
bright
of
out. I'm like,
smoke and a
yeah.
flash of light.
That's why I
An
like the
old
summer.
wizard appeared. The old man had watched Ma Liang every day as he drew his pictures and made the village people happy. Ma Liang, he said in a creaky voice, you have worked very hard, and now you have earned a brush. But use it wisely,
Okay.
for it has great powers.
Boom. So great power comes great responsibility.
Another cloud of smoke.
So we
and a
got
flash
some
of
morals
light.
in this one.
The old man vanished.
That's what I'm talking about.
The next morning, Ma Liang awoke and thought about his strange dream.
I think she said creaky voice, but it did kind of sound like she said
Was a
creepy.
golden brush.
These stories have
He
not
blinked
been
to
like
see if he was
pleasant.
Still dreaming, but the brush was really there.
I'm gonna have to talk to my
He jumped out
therapist
of
about
bed and
this
went to the wall of his
this
hut.
session for sure.
There he drew a beautiful bird with his new brush.
Like not this disc, the first disc. I'm definitely gonna have to bring
Right
up.
before his eyes, the bird became real. Ma Liang watched with wonder as the bird flapped its wings and flew off the wall. It flew out of Ma Liang's window to a tree outside, where it sang sweetly for the village people. That's amazing, thought Ma Liang. Then Ma Liang took his brush and scurried outside to a nearby stream. And on a rock, he painted a toad. And just as he finished, the toad jumped off the rock and into the stream with a
This is
splash.
Chalk Zone. Like this is legit what I
Stopped and
predicted.
looked again at
It's
the
just
wonderful
Chalk Zone.
brush. It was magic. Everything he painted became real.
Or Harold in the Purple
Now, instead of
Crayon.
gathering firewood and
If you want
pulling
a
weeds,
like a more
Ma Liang
classic
went from
one.
hut to hut to the poor
Also
people
a
in his
new, more
village and
modern
asked
one
them,
because they made that into a movie, but it
"What
was
is
a
it that you want
Zachary
most of
Levi
all?
thing. It was
I will
weird.
paint it for you." Some said they needed clothing for their children, so Ma Liang painted clothing.
Why continues to act like
Poor
a child.
farmer asked for a
I'm not gonna
buffalo
get
to
into
pull
it.
his plow. Ma Liang painted him a strong, healthy buffalo.
Cause like
And he
Shazam's a
painted
kid
food for
too.
the women to
Yeah,
cook.
I said I wasn't getting
All
into
of
it.
the people in the village were very grateful and very happy. It was not long before the emperor heard about this young artist who was spreading good fortune throughout the village. But the
He's
emperor
going to
was a
exploit it. I don't
mean
like
and
this emperor.
greedy man. All he wanted was more and more gold for his kingdom. He wanted Ma Liang's brush for the wealth it could bring him. Bring me the boy.
I didn't even
Ma
have to hear her
Liang,
say
he
that.
commanded,
I jumped right
so
to
that
he's a
I
dick.
might have the magic brush. So the emperor's soldiers marched to the small village to find Ma Liang. They told him of the emperor's wishes, but Ma Liang did not want to go. So the soldiers arrested Ma Liang and carried him back to the emperor's castle.
Unfortunately, it is not.
Ma Liang was brought before the emperor. So, you're the boy who paints pictures
No,
for the
the
village
extent of
people.
like the
If this
videos
is
as
so,
games
paint
as
me
like
a
Spice
golden
World.
dragon, demanded the emperor. Ma Liang
Spice
pretended
World
he
is
did not
essentially
understand.
just that.
He went to the wall, and instead of painting a golden dragon, he painted a green frog that leaped off the wall and landed right in the emperor's bowl of rice.
Yeah, you suck, Emperor.
Then the emperor ordered Ma Liang to paint him a bar of gold. Instead, Ma Liang drew a large yellow serpent. It
Ooh.
attacked the emperor and had to be killed by the soldiers. The emperor was furious.
Yeah, I
Grabbed
would say
the magic
so.
brush. He ordered Ma Liang thrown into the dungeon. Then the
Dude,
emperor
he-
called for the court painter.
I'm not
He
gonna.
handed him Ma Liang's brush and said, "Paint me
He did try
a
and,
great
like,
tree with
kill the
leaves of
emperor.
gold coins that will
Really
fall
does
like
deserve to
rain
be
when I
in the
shake
dungeon, but-
branches. Do it at once." The court painter did as he was told. When he finished, there was a beautiful picture of a tree on the wall with many gold coins on its branches. But when the emperor rushed to the tree to shake the branches, he ran right into the wall and bumped his head on it. The tree was not real. It was only a picture.
Oh,
Now the
4 per
emperor
disc.
realized
So there are
that
4
the brush
discs,
had magical powers only
which makes
when Ma Liang was
16.
present. He ordered his soldiers to bring the boy from the dungeon.
Well,
When Ma Liang
there are
appeared,
4 videos
the
per
greedy
disc.
emperor tried to
Some
be
of the
friends with
videos
him
have 2 stories,
spoke to him
but they're all
kindly.
about like 10 to 15 minutes of video.
Here is your magic brush. I know I cannot use it to paint the things I want, but if you will stay in my palace and paint pictures for me,
So like if
I
a story's like
will
7
make you
minutes, there'll be
very
two of
rich."
them together.
Ma Liang pretended to agree. So the emperor handed Ma Liang the brush. Now, paint me a mountain of pure gold, he said. Ma Liang painted the mountain, but he painted it behind
No, each of the discs is a single
Beautiful
game.
blue
That's
sea.
how they were.
beautiful.
That's how they're listed
beautiful
in
crater.
any.
Now, paint me a ship so that I can sail to my mountain and bring back the gold.
So
In a
that's why,
twinkle,
like, yeah, 16
Ma Liang
tails and then
painted a
the
fine ship
parentheses
worthy
too.
of an emperor.
You want to see the whole
The
shebang.
emperor and his soldiers quickly climbed aboard and set sail for the mountain. But
But-
since there was no wind, the ship moved very slowly. So the emperor called out, "Too slow! Too slow! Paint a wind to speed us along!" Again, Ma Liang did as he was
How do you
told,
paint the wind?
and he painted
I know
a
Pocahontas
huge
talked
gust of
about it,
wind
but,
to move
like,
the emperor's ship. The wind tore at the sails and great
I
waves
feel like
pounded
that
the
wouldn't
ship.
really work.
"Too much!" cried the emperor angrily. "You will sink us!" But Ma Liang could not hear the emperor's cries. The storm he had painted was too loud. The wind howled, and the waves crashed about the wooden ship. Then with a great crack, it split in two and sank into the stormy waters. Ma Liang walked slowly away from the palace. Never
Okay, I was gonna
again
say, is
forced
he
to
a
paint
ghost
for
now?
evil purposes. Instead, he traveled across the lands of China, from one small village to another, and painted for the poor
Oh,
with his magic brush.
that was a nice story. The emperor got his comeuppance. I think he drowned.
China has more than 3,000
he was dead
years
at the
of
end,
recorded
right?
history, and its
We'll just
myths,
accept that, right?
legends, folktales, and proverbs date from ancient times. China is a very large country. There are different stories told in different parts of China, and the stories tell of the way of life of the people from different areas. There are hundreds of stories from China.
All right, so we
Stories
had
like the King of
Korea,
the Monkeys and the story of the
Philippines,
first kite.
China.
You can
I'm
find
gonna
them
say
in
this
your school
last
or
one's
public
probably
libraries.
Japanese.
Read and enjoy the tales of China and stories from all over the world.
Feels like the
Share a
the
story
area
with
that
a
they would be
friend,
missing.
so our tales will never end.
Like, we haven't seen anything from Thailand either, but like feels like Japanese is probably like, unless they have an entire disc of Japanese stories. They could have gone that route too. But I imagine, I'm gonna guess one of them is probably African stories, because there are like some pretty interesting, like tales you could pull from there. And then probably South American, because we had the Native Americans. South America feels like it would probably have their own. Like the Aztecs, the Incans, which are, I guess, are just more Native Americans just on the south continent. Okay, so there hasn't been. I mean, the
preceding
crocodile
program
did
was
try and eat
funded
that
in
dude,
part
but
by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
I don't even think I didn't even pay attention to how that resolves. Huh. All right, the tale of Urashima Taro. That seems Japanese. David Hirokane. So each one of these stories had a different narrator. We didn't get two for
Urashima Taro is one of Japan's oldest and most treasured
two of them
folk
doubling
tales.
up.
The story has been passed from one generation to another and is still an old favorite. Today, the Japanese people try to combine the best of Western and Japanese ways of life. They eat both Japanese and Western foods, read both Japanese and Western books, and wear both Japanese and Western clothes. The people love beauty, and many take vacation trips to admire the beautiful trees and flowers of their country. They often travel in large groups, and sometimes a whole school class takes an overnight trip. Japanese children go to school and study many of the same subjects as students in the United States, but more time is spent on reading and writing because the language is so difficult.
Okay.
The Japanese borrowed the Chinese system of writing as well as many Chinese words. The writing includes
kanji.
symbols, which were once picture words. Long ago, when Japanese children asked questions, many times the elders would tell a story to explain the answer. The children often asked about the life of a prince or a princess. When they asked why they too could not live like royalty, their parents answered by telling them the story of Urashima Taro. And they began by saying, Mukashi, Mukashi.
Urashima Taro. So why am I not a prince or princess?
Long ago, there lived a young fisherman named Urashima Taro. He lived with his old parents in a small village on the coast of Japan. Taro's father had been a fisherman before him and had taught him the skill and knowledge of fishing. But now, since his father was too old and too tired, Taro became the fisherman of the family. Everyone in the village knew Taro was a great fisherman, but he was also known for his kind heart. He would chat with the young, the old, and the lonely, bringing a little
I mean,
joy
hey, this
into
is the
their
perfect if you
lives.
guys are trying to,
One
get to bed.
cool evening, Taro
Here's
came
some
home after
bedtime
a
stories
long,
for you.
discouraging day. He had only caught 3 small fish. The fishing has been poor, he thought. Taro pulled his small boat onto the beach and started home. On his way, he heard some children laughing excitedly. He saw them tormenting a small sea turtle. "If you keep poking at that sea turtle, it'll die," called Taro. The children paid no attention and continued teasing the creature.
Oh.
Then Taro thought of a better way to deal with the mischievous children. "What if I trade you my fish for the turtle?" asked Taro. The children looked at each other, then looked at the sea turtle, and they cheered. "It's a deal." So, Taro handed the children his day's catch in exchange for the turtle's safety.
Well, that's nice of him.
The children ran off into the distance, laughing and chattering about their great bargain. Taro knelt down and gently picked up the small, shivering turtle. "I will return you to your home in the sea," said Taro. "I am sure you will be much happier there." Taro walked to the edge of the water and carefully coaxed the turtle into the gentle waves. He waited until the turtle disappeared far in the distance.
Aw,
And
that's
then
nice.
he headed home with an empty basket.
That sucks.
The next morning, as always, Taro
At least
rowed
he
out
saved the
to
turtle.
open ocean. As he sat and waited for a fish to come, the soft waves splashed against the sides of his boat. It was very quiet and peaceful. Suddenly, he heard his name ring out in the ocean breeze. He looked around, but there were no other boats in sight. Well, I must have heard the cry of a seagull, thought Tato, and he went back to his fishing. Again, he heard his name, this time clear as a bell. He looked around again. He saw a sea turtle swimming alongside his boat. A sea turtle calling my name, chuckled Tato. Yes, Tato, answered the sea turtle, surprising the lad even more. Thank you for saving my life yesterday.
Man, everything talks.
It's you, said Tato. You are very welcome.
For once, I'd like to
Then
see, like,
the turtle
non-talking
asked Tato if he had ever seen the
animals
dragon
have to,
palace.
like, use sign
Tato
language
shook
or
his head
something.
and said, "Oh, I have heard many enchanting stories of this magnificent palace at the bottom of the sea, but I, myself, have never had the pleasure of visiting this wonderful place." "Then I would like to take you there," said the turtle.
People are way too trusting of
Tato returned to
random
his fishing and
aquatic
said,
creatures.
"I'd love to go, but I haven't finished my work.
That's
Besides,
also something
I don't
I'm
have the
learning
strength
here.
to swim that distance."
If you're befriended by an aquatic
you may
creature,
ride upon my back," said the
don't
turtle.
trust it.
And at that moment, the turtle grew to more than twice its size. "Now won't you come with me?" asked the turtle. Tato could not resist the invitation, so he climbed onto the giant sea turtle's back, and he held onto the animal's shell.
I'm a stronger man than Taro.
They
then.
dove into the deep blue sea.
I would have just been like, yeah, no. I'm
Strangely
good.
enough, Tato didn't grow tired as he traveled through the depths of the ocean. They swam through fields of golden seaweed until they reached a clearing. In the distance, a magnificent gate appeared. When the two travelers arrived, they could see a courtyard of colorful fish. The fish gave Tato a warm welcome and led them to a large hallway that was lined with golden columns so tall they seemed to touch the sky.
Ooh.
The floors were tiled with rainbow shells, more brilliant than the scales of a fish. And the
Was
walls were
Taro
covered
just like
with
bestowed
coral,
the ability
pearls,
of
and precious
underwater
stones.
breathe?
Never before had this
Didn't really
fisherman
address that
seen
part.
such beauty and elegance. A lovely princess appeared.
Just said he wasn't getting tired.
"Welcome to my father's palace,
Doesn't really
Urashima
address the drowning
The
part.
sea turtle has told me of your kindness, and I'm so glad you have decided to come." Her voice echoed through the chambers like a melody. She led him to a large table covered with elegant trays of delicious foods. Such a marvelous feast for a mere fisherman, thought Tato. Court musicians filled the room with beautiful music. Tato spent many enchanted hours at the Dragon Palace. Each day brought new pleasures to behold, and every wish Tato ever had came true. He was so happy there, he forgot.
We got 3
everything.
wishes for beating
3
Pandemonium.
days slipped by before he even gave a thought to the home he left behind, his parents, or his life as a fisherman. One day, the princess led Tato to a large viewing room. On each wall was a window, and each looked out on the beautiful garden that surrounded the palace. "This is a timeless garden where the 4 seasons can be seen at once," said the princess.
Ooh. Is that where the hotel
Tato
man
looked
comes?
through the east window and saw spring. Cherry trees were in full bloom, and a fresh aroma filled the air. Through the south window, Tato saw the warmth of summer. A carpet of grass with lush green trees bearing fruit that was so ripe he could almost taste its sweetness. Looking through the west window, Tato could see the trees of autumn. The warm-colored leaves tossed and floated against the sunset sky. Then a cold wind blew into the room, and Tato turned toward the north window. His heart fell, for the cold winter scene reminded him of his own village. A chill ran down his back, for now he realized how much he missed his life as a fisherman. He slowly turned to the princess and explained that his parents must be worried.
He can't
and it
fish
was
from
time to
under
go
the
home.
sea.
The princess began to weep and begged Tato to stay, but Tato shook his head in sorrow, for he knew he had already stayed much too long. The princess handed him a shiny black lacquered box tied with a red silk cord. Taro, you must take this box as a token, but please never open it, for it contains something very precious.
Then why are you giving it to
Taro
me?
promised never to open the box and waved farewell as he
That
left
doesn't make
the palace.
sense. Why would you give me the
The
box if you
turtle
don't want me
carried
to open
Taro
it?
back through the sea to the shore of his village.
Insert Kevin
Taro
Garnett
walked
meme.
slowly along the same shore he had walked many times before, but something seemed different. The hills and shore were the same, but there were many new houses he had never seen before. He walked towards his home, but in its place he found a strange new house. He ran to an old man who was sitting nearby and asked him, "Oji-san, what happened to the house of Urashima?" "Ah, you must be a stranger," said the old man. "My grandfather told me the legend of the young Urashima boy who was swallowed by the sea. But that was hundreds of years ago." "That cannot be possible. I am Urashima Taro." The old man looked at Taro in bewilderment. He shook his head, for he was too old and too tired to argue about such nonsense. Confused and frightened, Taro ran to the shore, for that was the only thing that did not change. He was comforted by the lonesome pounding of the surf. Perhaps the sea turtle will return, Taro thought. He waited and waited, but the turtle did not appear. There's no hope. Then he remembered the black box. Perhaps this will take me back to the palace. Although he had promised not to open it, he slowly untied the red silk cord and carefully lifted the lid. A strange cloud of mist drifted out and brushed against Taro's face, then floated away into the sea breeze. Bewildered, Taro looked into the empty box. Suddenly his face grew wrinkled. His dark black hair turned snowy white. His youthful body grew old. Now Taro understood. The box had contained his youth. Moments ago, Taro was a strong young man.
Yep.
But now he sat alone on the beach, very old.
That's why you shouldn't, like, ride sea turtles to palaces. I mean, it's the beach that makes you old.
The tale of Urashima Taro is a story with many different meanings. Some say the moral of the story is never break promises. Others say the moral is that fortune and money do not always bring happiness, and that true happiness comes from the family, the home, and the heart. Still other people say there is no moral at all to this story. It's just a story which will make you feel happy and make you feel sad. Urashima Taro is one of many folk tales from Japan. You can find others in
I like that
school
last
and
excuse.
public libraries, like
It's just a
Momotaro,
story.
the Peach Boy,
Makes you happy, makes you
Kaguya Hime, the
sad.
Luminous Princess, and Shitakiri Suzume, the Tongue-Cut Sparrow. Read and enjoy the folk tales from Japan and from all over the world. Share a story with a friend so our tales will never end.
At least none of those were traumatizing. Like, that last one wasn't pleasant, but, like, wasn't terrible. Again, I would have bailed when he grew to twice his size. I would be like, yeah, no, this is too weird, man. I'm out. Can I get back to the shore? Halfway through it. But yeah, I do plan on doing all the, when we do Lightspan, I plan on doing them as blocks. Just because, like, I don't like the idea of playing, like, a Mars Moose game separated, because, like, I'm pretty sure that, like, most of these games were developed as a single thing, and then they're just kind of split up.
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Boom, boom, boom. Ugh. I need to get better at hitting the timer because that was also 1 hour. 4 seconds. It took me 4 seconds longer to get through this one. I'm gonna put a 1 on that for now because those were traumatizing stories. Also, why don't the credits have music? Like, clearly there's... they could have just used the same music. Alright, give me like 2 minutes so I can switch some stuff around, and then we'll be back with 16 Tales Disc 3. I'll see you in a couple of minutes, guys.